Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the random podcast of Awesomeness.
Yes, it is.
And this is Shadow Wolf.
And Gurdette coming off of his vacation.
Yes, Gurdette was on vacation. That's why we haven't put up a video
In like a month.
Yeah. Which is all fine and dandy. We got around to playing the game Bomberman Max.
Yes.
And there are actually two versions to this game. There's Red Challenger and Blue Champion. I played Red Challenger.
And I played Blue Champion. Whole reason that is because this is on the Game Boy Color. And as everyone knows, the Game Boy Color had the peripheral for the link cable, meaning that you could, link up with a friend who had another copy or the reverse copy and duke it out with each other.
Yes.
Bomberman has always been a sort of competitive field, and I see why. Oh God.
Now, this is pretty much a pretty easy game in the way it plays. Basically, the story starts out when you start the game, and
in space.
Yes, in space. And I'm trying to remember the name of the villain, but the computer system has taken over.
By a space virus.
It's by a space virus. And now it's up to you to stop it.
Yes, by traveling across five of the different planets in the galaxy that have been directly impacted by this space virus corrupting the machine. In particular, your homeworld has been, completely covered in metal.
Yes, everything's been covered in metal. That's the whole big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you start, you traverse across. They're kind of like mini levels, yeah. You're in Zaris, and when you start out, your controls are pretty simple.
Yes.
You move.
You move with the D-pad, and you place bombs with the A button. As you are Bomberman, or at least I was White Bomberman.
And I don't remember the name of my character, but we both actually had different characters. I did actually watch the blue version just to see what the differences were.
Yes, he got the emo rival character, and I got the
yes, he was very emo. Now, each of the levels, I would call them, or something associated with that. You have different tasks in order to finish or complete the level.
Yes, objectives, if you will. Welcome to objective-based gameplay, what will be the bane of your existence for all time.
Now, I believe if I remember right, actually the first one was you had to
rescue a cherubim.
Yes, you had to get a cherubim.
By blowing up its cage.
Sounds reasonable for getting a cherubim.
Cherubims are these little alienoid creatures that you can go across the game and attempt to collect and save, and then power up as your adventure continues, in order to actually use that magnificent peripheral, the link cable, to do battle and compare with your friends that don't have this game, or a Game Boy Color, or a link cable. That would have
been the ideal way to play this game, if we were able to.
Yes.
Now, in each level, you have things blocking your path.
Yes, soft walls, hard walls, and the ever-lovable enemies that are all around the Bomberman universe.
Gosh, I love those enemies. Especially since, usually when you start out in the level, they will make sure that you have a hard time getting out of the first little location unscathed.
Oh, and it's around here where we need to start explaining a few of the gameplay mechanics in order to understand where I'm coming from. Now, your character, whichever one it is, I assume, I didn't actually look up any of the Red Challenger stuff, takes one hit to die. And you have basically 4 lives, so you can make quite a few of different mistakes in this game. However, you're Bomberman, or the rival character who still uses bombs. So your primary way of progressing through the level is exploding the soft walls and defeating the enemies that are in your path. Now, this doesn't sound all that complicated until you realize that Bomberman's main strength and the whole reason why it's an incredibly competitive environment is that you can kill yourself with these bombs.
Yes.
You will do so every level, multiple times. Oh God! Oh fucking God!
Now when you place down a bomb, it's directional in both horizontal and vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So it will literally make a cross when it blows up.
Yes, assuming that it can. If it gets blocked off
Right.
by a hard wall, or if it under certain special circumstances, a soft wall will usually stop it. As will enemy place. Well, actually, I don't think enemy placements do, and nor do your placement. But,
So as long as you're diagonal to where you place the bomb, you're okay.
yeah, good luck. Those are the most basic parts of the game mechanics. Now, your bomb starts off pitifully weak. It really does. It only is allowed to explode like one square in each direction away from where it is, and you're only allowed to have one on the field. But by exploring around and exploding certain soft walls, you can pick up items that actually allow you to increase your overall power. Do this at your own risk, especially the range power-up, which looks like napalm. Every time that you pick, you can hold up to 4 range power-ups and 4 bomb power-ups at the same time before they just say, no, you don't deserve to have any more power. And thank God for that, or else I would have died even more times than I was supposed to. Oh God. But with 4 extra bomb power-ups, obviously you can have 4 bombs in the field at once. Why are you trying to kill yourself? I'm not entirely sure. And with 4 napalm power-ups, your bomb actually extends up to, 4 squares from where it once was. So, it's pretty self-explanatory in that regard. Except none of the game bothers to explain this to you.
Yeah, it does not tell you how to do this.
The
It
game
tells you how
assumes
to
that you've
do
played
certain
Bomberman
things,
before
but-
and actually have the instruction manual on hand. If you got this game used, I assume you made it past the first world, like I did, and you were able to get past the first world with quite a bit of difficulty, but still enjoying yourself for the most part, much like I did.
Yeah.
And then you just get to the second world where the game says, oh, all those difficulty spikes that were in the first world that you managed to navigate finally, damnly? Yeah, every single one of those difficulty spikes has been jumped up 5 times. Good luck, have fun.
It's pretty much the game.
And according to what I have seen, just from my personal play experience, again, I didn't bother to do any additional research other than what I was playing. I know I'm a horrible commentator for that, but shut up, this game pissed me off. It keeps scaling upwards exponentially.
Oh, it does.
And that is my main problem. I have 2 major problems with this game. The difficulty spikes are fucking everywhere and enormous, and most of the power-ups are not explained to you. Even when you're finally able to test them out, a lot of them are not explained to you. For example, one of Bomberman's trademark abilities, the ability to kick his own bombs, is a power-up that you have to obtain. It's a very useful power-up, except for me, because I don't know how the fuck to use it. I have learned since how to actually activate it, but it doesn't matter, because in order to actually use it appropriately, you still have to put yourself in a position where it's a good idea to both have it and use it.
Right.
That's the whole game from World 2 onwards. Learning where the hell you're supposed to be, why you're supposed to be there, and using that location to your specific advantage. Because there is just so much that is just so difficult about this game. And I didn't even really care about it until I got to World 2. Oh.
Now, each time you complete a level, a warp
Several
zone
warp
opens
zones
up.
appear, actually.
Well, yeah,
Assuming that
several.
it's not the first level of the world. And
This is very important.
yes, because every level that you go to, except for maybe the first and a couple others, has multiple exits. And depending on which exit you take, it will take you to a different level. Now, red portals are levels that you have actually already completed, and blue portals are levels that you have not completed.
Now, if you don't know this,
If you
you're going to
don't
be
know
wandering
this, you will
around.
be
for a
running
long
around like,
time.
where the fuck do I go? Going into the nearest portal every single time, like I did, until I realized that, oh, I had to go back to the level select screen to realize this, mind you, but it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it took me a while myself.
Yes.
For a while, I just thought the game looped, and apparently not.
No, it doesn't. It does have a definitive end, and it even has boss fights.
It does.
The first boss is pitifully easy and doesn't deserve to have that name. Seriously, I did not die once. Well, no, I died once, but it was because I was a fucking idiot and put myself in a position that I wasn't supposed to be in.
No, it was pretty basic.
Yeah.
I mean, I only got to the third world just because it really is that hard.
You still did better than I did. I got halfway through World 2, and then I broke my mouse.
Oh.
Yeah. The whole week that I was telling you that I was incredibly pissed off at shit, dude, it was this game that was pissing me off that much. I loved World 1. I really did. And if the entire game had been on that level of difficulty throughout, I would have been able to finish this game in a couple of days and said, dear God, where the hell is the next Bomberman game? But no. It gets harder and harder as you progress, like it's supposed to. You know, scaling difficulty is a real thing now. But it gets to the point where it's no longer fun, and it feels as though the game is cheating you, even though it's not. The game has been trying to prepare you up to this point to be able to take down this particular stage, and you aren't ready for it.
Yeah, you have to be, like, really good in order to really, like, finish this game.
Yes, it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes a shit ton of practice, and it takes a lot of research that I was not willing to put into this game, especially after I grounded myself from it 2 days ago. Ugh.
Now, the enemies in this game, there are various enemies with various abilities.
Yes. For example, your bane of your existence for World 1 is the Death's Head, even though they're actually skull heads. But I call them Death's Heads because, you know, Zelda. They have the ability to turn incorporeal, phase through both soft and hard walls, and pretty much go after you. On the first world, however, the enemy AI is not the greatest, so you know you can just sit back, hold out a bomb, and hope that they run into it, and sometimes they will. Other times you'll need to actually use the timed bomb power-up, which is a godsend in this game. I swear to you, Shadow, if I had the ability of timed bombs in World 2, at any point that I had played, I would have been like, you know what? Just keep giving me time bombs and I can get through this. I can.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yes, time bombs are absolutely broken in this game, but they need to be. They so need to be. But yeah, that's a very brief look at Death's Heads. Most of the other enemies in World 1 aren't actually that important, or at least that dangerous. I mean, there's the leaping totem poles, but meh.
I mean, when you first start, you might want to be a little wary of, like, the dragon things. I can't think of what they're called, but they breathe fire.
They're just fire-breathing drakes.
Right. They breathe fire, and they can actually put out your bombs.
Yes, and as long as they're breathing fire, they're impervious to fire damage. You need to remember that. And they take 2 hits. That's one of the major problems that I ended up having with, a few of the enemies. Most enemies only take 1 hit. But, Death's Heads and fire-breathing dragons and the totem poles all take 2 hits. And it's like,
yes.
Okay, if it was just about placing your bombs in the right spot, I could see that, but it's also very much about placing your bombs in the right spot, timing the explosions, and hoping that you've memorized the AI pattern. Else, you wasted your bomb placement, and you are on a timer. I never had the timer run out because I was dying so damn much and dying.
I've had it go out once, and that's about it, actually.
What happens when the timer runs out?
It's pretty much just like dying.
So great. Yes, this game will kill you a lot and often.
You're going to die a lot in this game.
And usually it'll be your fault.
Most of the time.
The game does not employ that many cheap tactics to you. It feels like it does, but really, it doesn't. The only thing that I encountered that was actually cheap in my book were the fucking jump ninjas. There's a level in World 2 that you have to kill all of the jump ninjas in order to actually, progress. I did this once. I think I glitched the game out when I did it though, specifically because I have since not yet killed a single jump ninja.
Well, that's very strange. Oh, but yeah, they are annoying.
Annoying is a small part of what they are. Fucking cheap.
As are a lot of the enemies in this game.
I don't find that most of the other enemies are cheap, actually.
Not like a lot, but there are a handful that are going to get on your nerves very quickly.
I mean, yes, the Death's Head can be a bit cheap, especially when Death's Head are incorporeal. They still, one shot. They still kill you if you run into them. If it wasn't for the vast array of power-ups, Bomberman would never survive these adventures. But you do have to manage your power-ups very, very specifically.
It's especially when, your main weapon is bombs.
Mm-hmm. Well,
there are variations thereof, but not much else.
You've actually found weapons that aren't bombs?
No, I was saying there's variations of bombs, but not really anything else.
Timed bomb. Piercing bomb is actually pretty cool, but it's so very rare that you're not gonna, see it that often.
Yeah. Also, another nice power-up you can get is, you can actually be invincible for a little bit.
Yes, I think it lasts for, a whole 100 seconds, which is, no, it's not 100, but it feels like it at times. It gives you such a breather. And I did end up abusing the invincibility in World 1 quite a bit, but there's also the intangibility power-up, too. The one that allows you to pass through soft walls, and that is a godsend in the world. That
is a very nice thing to have.
That was a godsend in the world that I had it. But yeah, there are plenty of power-ups, like the slingshot one that looks like a slingshot. I got no idea what that one actually does. Maybe it's the horrid speed down power-up. I'm not sure, but I kind of doubt it because I never know.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had a manual for the game just so I could see what all the power-ups are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really explained very well at all.
I think I did eventually find the ability to throw bombs. I still don't know how.
Yeah. No, I do remember that power-up. I just don't remember what it looks like or whatever.
There are also, in several of the missions, one of the mission objectives is to, find the secret panel. And if you do find the secret panel, you are allowed to connect to a special adapter. I have no idea what this is about.
Now I'm actually going to tell you what that's for, Gerdad.
Okay.
The Game Boy Color is an infrared system.
Alright.
And so aren't remote controls. So you can actually use a button on your remote control onto your Game Boy, and it gives you a special feature of which I'm not sure of yet.
I think that's to transfer your... no, that wouldn't make much sense.
I'm not quite sure, but that is actually what it's for.
Okay. Maybe it's a field nuke. It would make sense in that one mission that I continuously got stuck at.
Possibly. Because it when you go on the pad, it tells you to get an infrared controller to place against your system. Mm-hmm. And then you're supposed to press a button, and from there I have no clue what to do because we are not playing this on the Game Boy Color.
Yes, we played this on an emulator, and I am quite thankful for that because I would have in fact smashed the Game Boy Color, and I've done that before, and it's not pretty.
So we talked a lot about that part of the game. What do you want to talk about next?
Well, the soundtrack is not necessarily catchy, but it's tauntingly cute. And it's like, yes, this would be a very fun and simple game if I could stop dying.
Yes. If if you guys remember Game Boy Color games, this is actually a lot like a Game Boy Color soundtrack.
It's very Game Boy Color-esque.
Yes. And it's very repetitive.
Yeah, I think the loop is, only like 20, 25, maybe even less. I'll admit that I wasn't actually paying attention to it most of the damn time, because I figured out quite quickly that it was, it was a pretty short loop, but it was still, a loop that was cute enough to actually, taunt me, so I began ignoring it.
Yes. I kind of liked it. Kind of wish there was more variation to it, but
There are different
okay.
tracks in the game, though. There
There
are. I just don't
There are.
remember any of them. I want to say that each world has got its own world theme, but I really don't know. And I know that the boss battle theme is different. It does sound like a Game Boy Color boss battle, so...
Yeah, it does. The other sounds in the game, like the sound effects, are actually pretty good.
Yes, when you explode a bomb, it feels like you're exploding a bomb, regardless of how large the explosion is. And dying feels so very bad. It does.
Yes, it does.
It's like...
It's kind of like dying in a Zelda game.
It's not that, though, because dying in this game is much faster than dying in the Zelda game.
Just the sound, though, kind of reminds me of it.
Kind of. I don't really see the Zelda dying sound. Of course, I don't really remember what the Zelda dying sound is. It's been so long since I've died in a Zelda game.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, possibly.
Now the graphics on this game
are actually pretty good, in my opinion.
They're pretty good for a Game Boy Color game.
I think that a few of the trees and a few of the like most of World 1 is ripped almost straight out of Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, because I kept getting that vibe while I was walking around. It's like, this looks a lot like Dragon Warrior Monsters 2.
Man, it's done.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't actually played that one, but
When?
I'm sure it does look similar. The sprite work is actually it's cutesy. I like it.
And I do like the sprite work, but not nearly as much as I'm probably supposed to. I mean, a lot of the things do look not necessarily copy and paste, except for the ninjas who are supposed to be copy paste.
Right.
But I don't know. I think my least favorite sprite would probably have to be the loons.
Okay.
But
I think the main characters in both games are actually pretty good.
Yeah, same. They do a very nice Bomberman likeness. Even though these games came out before their 3D titles, so it was this game that the 3D titles took from.
Yep. Yeah, graphically, it's actually a very decent game.
Yes, I would say that even in World 2, that I fucking hated, I enjoyed the graphics setting. I did.
Let's see here. So that's graphics and sound. What haven't we covered? I think that's a majority of the game.
Well, there is the story, which doesn't really, go anywhere after the intro. By the way, the intro being as long as it is actually a pretty cool thing. And I think it does actually explain and explore quite a bit of the Bomberman universe. At least it feels that way to me.
Oh, it does.
So, the story, although it doesn't actually go anywhere after the intro, at least from what we played, is nice. It is. I kind of wish a bunch of the story actually followed in through with the game, but with the warping around and not going from one level to the next level, going from one level to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, working in a story would have been a bit more complicated than I give it credit for. So, I understand why the story isn't here for the rest of the game, but I kind of wish we had a bit more snippets, maybe even a loading screen where Bomberman is interacting with the various creatures in the world. That would have been cool. I mean, the amazing the Amazing Penguin did that. So,
Speaking of the main screen, I just want to talk about that real quick. There are actually 3 settings on the main screen. One for the main game, one for linking, and I don't remember the last one off the top of my head.
Well, it's the main game, I think a battle game, and then the link trade.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And of course, it's Bomberman, so your battle game is where you connect your link cable up and then you go against your friend that has this game. And then you both die and wonder why you bothered playing.
Now, I kind of wish I could connect with it because, like, the creatures in this game are pretty cool looking.
Yes, although, admittedly, I only bothered raising the first one. I should have gone and raised up the third one that I picked up because he was pretty much a Dragonoid, but I only bothered raising the first one.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did as well.
And you end up dying so many times that he can get pretty freaking big.
Yes, he can. I mean, overall, the it's a good game.
Yes, this is actually a very, very good game. I just hate it so goddamn much after World 1.
It gets wicked hard if you're not willing to put the time into playing this game.
Then don't. No. I have to take that back. Play World 1.
Yeah,
For the love of God, play World 1. Throughout the entirety of World 1, I was dying a fuck ton, and I was enjoying the fuck out of it. I really was.
It was a lot of fun.
The first world is just so much fun, and it makes me wonder where the hell the next-gen Bomberman game is. And then I remember that Nintendo might not actually have this license anymore. But if it does, I'm nominating Bomberman to be in the next Smash Brothers game, even though it's already almost fully developed.
I think, if I remember, and I'm going to look it up real quick, I think it actually might be made by Hudson.
Which is an extension of Nintendo at the moment. Because Hudson still makes all the Kirby games, don't they?
I don't think they do.
Could have swore that Hudson Soft was still in.
Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's look this up real quick.
Oh, okay then.
Hudson. Maybe I should add a soft at the end.
Hudson Software.
So yeah, Hudson Soft, commonly known by Hudson, is okay. It doesn't actually mention anything about Nintendo in general. Actually, it says his parent company is Konami.
Okay.
Which is interesting to know.
Yes. Because Konami still does a lot of stuff for Nintendo. It's just that they are, officially third party.
Which is kind of sad, since they haven't really made that much for them lately.
Well, the 3DS is still young, and no, because even the 3DS is more than likely not going to see the next Yu-Gi-Oh game. Speaking of, when the hell is the next Yu-Gi-Oh game coming out?
Good question.
Because wasn't the last one over the Nexus?
I believe so.
I mean, the last, story-driven game. The last tag duel game was on the PSP, and wasn't that like 5 or was it 6?
I think it was 6.
We're not sure, but yeah, we're getting horrendously off topic. But yeah, in the event that Bomberman, either if Bomberman is still a slightly a Nintendo property, or even if he is third party, because Solid Snake made it into Smash, for Christ's sake. Let us hope that Bomberman gets to see some representation in the near future, because World 1 of this game is more than enough to prove that he could really use it.
Yeah, I welcome it.
I guess, with that being said, and we're coming up on half an hour, I guess we should go into our final thoughts. How about you first, Shadow?
Sure, so being as I actually picked this game, I actually wanted to try this out, I am mostly pleased with it. with what I chose. I kind of like the fact that this is like they did a red and blue version sort of thing, and I kind of wish I could have got into more of that, because I kind of feel like there's a whole part of the game that I'm missing by not being able to do that.
Yes, the competitive multiplayer that screams,
Right.
"Oh God, why did you do this?"
I mean, overall, despite like the huge difficulty spikes, there's a good game there, and I want to be able to enjoy it more than I am, but I'm just getting frustrated in like the later levels so much that it kind of takes away my excitement. When I first started the game, I was really enjoying the game, and I kind of wish I kept that same enjoyment throughout the later levels. But that being said, it's a really good game, and I'm actually going to give this one a 7 out of 10.
Hey, a game that Shadow and I finally agree on. Yay! Because, viewers, I'm right with Shadow with that. I really am. The first world of this game is so goddamn perfect. Even though it's ball-bustingly difficult, it feels so much fun to go through. I didn't even clear all of World 1, and I really should have done that. I don't know what happens if you clear the entirety of a world. But I've played enough of World 1 to know that, yes, that is where I should play if I'm going to play this game. I'm not even touching World 2 anymore. God, no. The difficulty spike in this is the only real hampering, other than, the lack of explaining of the power-ups. I can't really fault the game for the lack of explanation, as it's a Game Boy Color game, and, it came with a manual that said, here's what all these power-ups do, go and collect them in this order, and you will not have nearly as difficult time as I did. Still, it would have been very nice if in particular, the damn slingshot thing, that I think is a slingshot but clearly isn't. If I knew what the hell that did, I'd feel a little bit better about this, but through all my experimentation, I was unable to figure that out. I have to say that this is definitely a 7 out of 10 type game, a game that is hampered by its difficulty, but not much else. The control is nice. The concept is very easy to get a hold of. Hell, even the upgrades are mostly self-explanatory, assuming that you're willing to experiment. But the cheapness of the jump ninjas, the, dual-hit enemies that don't really make a bunch of sense, the enemy AI being so much devoted to killing you and not really doing much else, the level environments are actually very nice and challenging to go through for the most part, and then there's those few levels that are just structured in a way that makes you say, why would you do this? I love World 1 of this game. I cannot express how much that if I actually had a Game Boy Color and it wasn't broken from this game, I would consider buying this game. I would. But I can't, recommend everyone to play this. Matter of fact, if you have any temper problems at all, no. Just stay far away from this. But yeah, it's a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, the first level is great, but I recommend you all play at least the first level, and then if you can, the rest of it.
The first whole world, actually. The first level.
Right.
The first level
the
is not
first
actually
level.
that difficult, but I still managed to get a game over on it.
Yeah, play the first world. That's what I meant to say. And if you can, go on and see if you can. And if you can, I congratulate you.
Hey, if any one of our viewers, which is all of about 5 people at the moment, if any one of our viewers are able to actually complete this game, you have eternally earned my gamer respect. Because I can't do this and won't ever be able to. I get way too frustrated in World 2.
So yeah, that's the game, and we want to thank you guys for listening.
Yes, we do.
And we hope you listen in next time when we review another game.
Which I don't know what it is going to be yet, because it's my turn to pick it out.
But yeah, we shall soon find out. Thanks for listening, guys.
Alright, and be safe, everybody.